Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today we are talking about chapter 28 of Tao Te Ching. Here is the beautiful river valley of the world. So this is a really kind of fun chapter. I think it's quite prescient, and it really touches on a theme of the moment in society, and I'm going to get into it. A river valley to the world. The man who understands his masculine nature, but also cherishes the feminine, is like a mountain stream for the world. Like a mountain stream for the world, constant in virtue. He is like a newborn child. If he understands the light, but also cherishes the dark, he serves as a model for the world. As a model for the world, unwavering in virtue, he returns to the infinite. If he understands renown, but also cherishes abasement, he is like a river valley to the world. As a river valley to the world, complete in virtue, he returns to the unformed state. From the unformed state are formed tools and instruments. The wise man uses these to lead his government. So we may see that effective rule requires simple measures. So, why is this so prescient? Why is this so important for our age? Essentially, we are starting to see quite a divide in how men and women in Western society view society, view themselves, view the correct way to live. We are constantly being shown different forms of femininity and masculinity in our media, in culture, in books, in movies, on TV, our politicians, our parents. And it can be really hard to find the ideal form of masculinity or femininity. But what this is saying is that that ideal form honors and cherishes the opposite of it. You know, it is okay for a man to paint his fingernails. It is okay for a woman to get her hands dirty and change a carburetor. The idea within this is that, yes, there are these two, objective facts of life. There's the masculine and there's the feminine. But being able to work with and embrace either of them is really important. It's really beneficial, and being able to be emotional, but also have that rigidity, we talk a lot in Taoism about flexibility, but it also takes this balance. Taoism is all about balance. It is hard and soft, hot and cold, up and down, masculine and feminine, yin and yang. The idea of this balance allows you to be flexible on the ground, to act like a child, cherish abasement, understand renown, complete in virtue, returns to the unformed state. This is it's basically a concept in Taoism trying to walk around like an idiot. There's a verse that we'll get to eventually that talks about, I walk around like a child or an idiot, or, just taking in the world, absorbing all that I can, learning all that I can, being curious, just like we talked about in the last verse. And this allows you to be incredibly effective, efficient, learn new things, develop new tools and skills. And that's what's really important here. It's being able to have that balance, that childhood wonder and curiosity and drive for learning, realizing that you don't have all the answers. You're not going to be some pig-headed know-it-all who is really stubborn and stuck in their ways. You're going to be flexible. You're going to move with the times. You're going to move with the currents. You're going to enter new situations as if you are a child in them. And that will allow you to learn and grow and prosper within whatever situation you find yourself in. It's a really important concept. And basically, when it's talking about a river valley to the world, a river valley to the world is perfect. It is complete. It has developed over millions and millions of years of erosion and new species coming in and out. And, evolution, survival of the fittest, whatever you want to call it. But that river valley is a perfect metaphor for a human being. You have developed and you've grown and you've learned, but you're not afraid to have new things come into the valley and change it up or shift the dynamic. A lot of it is already at equilibrium. And so when something is at true equilibrium, when something new comes in, it's not going to disturb everything completely. It will change things, but hopefully that equilibrium will be able to maintain itself and stay where it is. And that's kind of your idea. That's what you want to be, is this river valley to the world, this open, connected part of the universe, part of the world that is not afraid to engage in the world, that is not afraid to try and benefit the world. Or, when you're doing poorly, hopefully the world can reciprocate that and you can get back on your feet. And so this whole idea is about accepting the balance, accepting the masculine, the feminine, the way of life, and realizing that, there are going to be things that you just don't know or that you don't handle properly. And that is totally okay, as long as you can embrace that balance, as long as you can realize that you are just a child walking through life. I think young people sometimes get quite frustrated with older people because an older person will act as if they know everything. And when a young person comes with a new idea or, maybe a nuanced perspective on a topic, we're always shut down because these older people think that they know everything. And while you might have experience and wisdom that should be listened to by the young people, that's our problem, is we don't want to listen to this wisdom. But you also have to be okay with people not accepting your ideas, people not accepting your concepts. And that's part of walking into things very curious and open-minded. Take everything you can in terms of the wisdom and knowledge people have to offer. You don't have to follow it through. You don't have to embrace it, but you have to listen. And if you're an older person or even just a young know-it-all, not being able to take advice and not being able to listen to other people is a serious setback. I mean, that creates a valley that is not of the world. It creates a valley that is all your own way. And when something comes in that you're not ready for, that valley gets very sick and the whole biome is thrown off. So that's kind of the concept of this, and understanding that we are always of one masculine and one feminine part, that's how it works. I hope that's not controversial or anything, but we are products of a masculine and a feminine, and being able to live inside of your own thing, whether it is masculine or feminine, and then being able to understand and cherish, the word is cherish, the opposite is really important. Because if you don't cherish that, we have seen many, many examples of both men and women who do not cherish the opposite gender. And it leads to all kinds of problems. It leads to rocky relationships, difficult stress within your family, within your own psyche, and not being able to appreciate one or the other, just simply saying, I'm a dude, I just need masculine stuff, I don't talk about my feelings, that's girly stuff. That is not going to get you very far in life. You're going to end up not feeling so great by the end of the road, probably sooner than that. So you need to cherish the other side, because both have incredibly important concepts and ideas and perspectives that help us survive. And they have for millions of years, far before we were even humans. The idea of masculine and feminine, the behaviors that we see in nature that are portrayed by both feminine and masculine creatures, they're super different. A lot of creatures have a different size ratio. Females are either smaller or bigger, or, they have certain mating rituals and activities, and not being able to appreciate 50% of basically what you are, because whether you like it or not, you're 50% feminine and 50% masculine. Not being able to appreciate a whole 50% of who you are is really detrimental to how you engage with the universe and how you interact. And that's basically what this is saying, is you need to cherish the feminine. And although this verse takes it from the masculine perspective, it's just as important for the feminine. Understand your feminine nature, but also cherish the masculine. And that doesn't mean worship or anything like that, but it means to cherish, to appreciate, to understand the nuances and how we need it in the circle and the balance of life, because one or the other is not going to get you the whole way. You're just not going to get far enough. That is essentially what it's like. The newborn child, we talked about that. Returning to the infinite, cherishing abasement. From the unformed state are formed tools and instruments. So essentially every skill, every tool, every idea and concept that has ever been created was created out of an unformed state. It was created out of someone thinking creatively, someone developing, whether it was on the shoulders of giants, I sit upon the shoulders of giants, whether it was that, so you're developing someone else's ideas, it takes that level of curiosity and ingenuity and that childhood wonder. It takes that to develop all the things that we have, the concepts. If you think of the theory of relativity or gravity and the amazing telescopes and things we have, all of that was created out of childhood wonder and this development of, what? There's something out here that I could figure out. And then you can sit on the shoulders of giants and look at what people have come up with so far. But then the development of that stuff is all developed through this unformed state. And so renouncing your childhood curiosity and your element of wonder is really going to stymie you in your creative world, in your development. And you can apply this to your daily life. If you go through the world thinking that you know everything and that there's nothing else to learn, your drive to work is probably pretty boring. But if you let yourself be open to that wonder, maybe you're going to find an amazing sunset. Maybe you will run into someone that you knew that, would love to strike up a conversation. There's an infinite number of ways where having that childhood curiosity, or just curiosity in general, is an incredible boost to your quality of life. So that's basically what it's saying, is that all these formed tools and instruments and concepts and ideas and ideology, it is all formed out of looking at the world honestly and understanding that you know nothing and that you'd like to figure some things out before you're done this trip. So that's essentially a river valley to the world. And I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Again, beautiful picture. It's really, really nice. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day, week, month, year, century, universe, whatever you're having. I hope it's amazing. And as always, I will talk to you guys tomorrow.